Hello and welcome to CVR News Network. You're watching CVR English and these are the details of the World 360 with me, Sandeep. US President Trump announced a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin scheduled for Friday in Alaska, aimed to address the Ukraine conflict. Although Ukrainian President Zelensky will not attend, Trump pledged to share the details of the conversation with him immediately. He stressed his intention to pressure Putin for a ceasefire, saying he is going to be telling him, "You got to end this war." While expressing cautious optimism, Trump acknowledged past disappointments with Putin and reiterated that the war might have been avoided had he been in the office during the previous term. This meeting follows Trump's tougher stance on Moscow, including approving additional US weapons for Ukraine and threatening tariffs on Russian oil buyers.
You have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. It would have never happened. It was the apple of his eye. I got along very well with President Putin. So this is really a feel-out meeting a little bit. And President Putin invited me to get involved. He wants to get involved. I believe he wants to get it over with. Now, I've said that a few times, and I've been disappointed because I'd have like a great call with him, and then missiles would be lobbed into Kiev or some other place, and you'd have 60 people laying on a road dying. The money that's been spent and the death is incredible. It's the worst thing that's happened, by far the worst that's happened since World War II. So I'm going in to speak to Vladimir Putin, and I'm going to be telling him, you got to end this war, you got to end it. And he wasn't going to mess with me. This war would have never happened. You know, we had a discussion about it one time, and we never had that discussion again. Would have never happened. So I'm going to go and see the parameters. Now, I may leave and say, good luck, and that'll be the end. I may say this is not going to be settled. I mean, there are those that believe that Putin wanted all of Ukraine. I happen to be one of them, by the way. I think if it weren't for me, he would not be even talking to anybody else right now. But I'm going to meet with him. We're going to see what the parameters are. I'm then going to call up President Zelensky and the European leaders right after the meeting, yeah. And I'm going to tell them what kind of a deal. I'm not going to make a deal. It's not up to me to make a deal. I'm going to meet with President Putin, and we're going to see what he has in mind. And if it's a fair deal, I'll reveal it to the European Union leaders and to the NATO leaders and also to President Zelensky. I think out of respect, I'll call him first. And then I'll call them after. And I may say, lots of luck, keep fighting. Or I may say, we can make a deal.
If not,
Well, we're going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin. And at the end of that meeting, probably in the first 2 minutes, I'll know exactly whether or not a deal can be made.
how will you know that?
Because that's what I do. I make deals. I expect to have a meeting with Putin that I think it'll be good, but it might be bad. And I'm here for one reason, to get rid of a war that somebody else started. Should have never happened. And if I could end it, great. Complex war, a lot of bad blood, But Zelensky's been there for 3.5 years, so if you put them in a room. Now, I will say this. Ultimately, I'm going to put the two of them in a room. I'll be there or won't be there. You have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. It would have never happened. It was the apple of his eye. I got along very well with President Putin. So this is really a feel-out meeting.
US President Donald Trump announced the deployment of the National Guard troops to Washington, D.C., aiming to enhance street safety in the U.S. Capitol. Speaking at a White House press conference, he said that the city police force would come under federal authority. Trump cited a murder rate he claimed was higher than some of the worst places on earth. He emphasized that the troops' deployment goal was to restore law and order and public safety. The move reflects growing concerns over rising crime in the city. Authorities hope the increased presence will deter violence. This federal intervention marks a significant step in addressing public safety challenges. Washington residents await the impact of these measures.
Today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia, and Attorney General Pambondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this moment. This city will no longer be a sanctuary for illegal alien criminals. We will have full, seamless, integrated cooperation at all levels of law enforcement, and we'll deploy officers across the district with an overwhelming presence. You'll have more police, and you'll be so happy because you'll be safe. When you walk down the street, you're going to see police, or you're going to see FBI agents. We're going to have a lot of agents on the street. You're going to have a lot of essentially military, and we will bring in the military if it's needed, by the way. They'll immediately begin massive enforcement operations targeting known gangs, drug dealers, and criminal networks to get them the hell off the street, maybe get them out of the country, because a lot of them came into our country illegally. They shouldn't have been allowed in. They come from Venezuela. They come from all over the world. We're going to get them the hell out. They won't be here long. But some of these people, a lot of them, are homegrown criminals. And these are bad people. These are rough people. And this is just a list of some of the people that we're given. Today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia, and Attorney General Pambondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this moment. This city will no longer be a sanctuary for illegal alien criminals. We will have full, seamless, integrated cooperation at all levels of law enforcement, and we'll deploy officers across the district with an overwhelming presence. You'll have more police, and you'll be so.
Palestinians gathered to mourn Al Jazeera journalist Anas al-Sharif and Mohammad Quresh killed in an Israeli airstrike. The attack also claimed the lives of 3 other colleagues, drawing condemnation from the journalists and rights groups. Israel military claimed that it targeted al-Sharif, accusing him of leading a Hamas militant cell involved in rocket attacks. Al Jazeera, funded by Qatar, strongly denied the allegations, with al-Sharif himself rejecting them before his death. The 28-year-old was among the 4 journalists and an assistant killed in a strike on a tent near Al-Shafiha Hospital in Gaza City. Gaza officials and the hospital confirmed 2 additional casualties in the attack. The incident has heightened tensions and raised serious concerns about the press safety zones in conflict zones.
أنا مع بالبداية أنا معه. أكبر. في الجنة ربي أوعدك بالجنة ربي أوعدك بالجنة.
The family of Miguel Uribe, a Colombian senator and presidential hopeful, held a remembrance service following his death. Uribe was critically injured after being shot in the head during a campaign rally in June and was receiving treatment at Santa Fe Hospital in Bogota. His condition worsened over the weekend due to a hemorrhage leading to his passing. His wife, Maria Claudia Tarazona, announced the news in a heartfelt post on X, expressing her grief and commitment to raising their children. A prominent right-wing politician, Uribe's death has deeply impacted his supporters and family. The nation mourns the loss of a promising leader whose legacy continues to inspire many across Colombia amid ongoing political challenges.
Se nos fue un hombre maravilloso para nosotros, el que canta, el que juega ajedrez, el que toca piano, el que compone canciones, el que le dedicó la vida con amor y entrega a Alejandro, a mis hijas y a mí.
Pero el micrófono está encendido.
Para el país se fue un hombre maravilloso que soñaba con la paz y la unión de Colombia, que soñaba con un país donde ningún niño repitiera la historia que hoy su hijo está repitiendo. Romper una familia es el acto de violencia más horrible que se pueda cometer jamás. Sabemos que en el corazón de Miguel, su lucha y lo que él quisiera para todos nosotros los colombianos es unión, paz y amor. Rechazo cualquier acto de violencia o cualquier acto de venganza por la muerte de Miguel, porque para honrarlo solo debe haber amor en nuestros corazones. Eso era lo que habitaba en el corazón de Miguel, solo amor. Se nos fue un hombre maravilloso para nosotros, el que canta, el que juega ajedrez, el que toca piano, el que compone canciones, el que le dedicó la vida con amor y entrega a Alejandro, a mis hijas y a mí.
Reform UK MP Sarah Portion claimed that illegal migrants from predominantly Muslim countries put women at risk of sexual assault. Speaking at a press conference titled Women for Reform, Greater Lincolnshire Mayor Dame Andrea Jerkins added that Britain is no longer a safe haven. She criticized both the current government and the Conservative administration she once served for poor crime and policing records. The remarks sparked a debate over immigration and public safety. Reform UK called for stronger measures to protect women. Critics warned against stigmatization migrant communities. The issue remains a contentious topic in British politics.
The truth is, we have no idea who we're letting in, no idea how many of them have criminal records or who might be a red flag to our security services. How many are drug dealers, murderers, rapists, spies for hostile regimes, terrorists? What we do know is that this government is being forced, kicking and screaming, to accept that foreign nationals are 4 times more likely to commit rape or sexual assault than British men. The inconvenient truth for the left is that the culture of men from predominantly Muslim countries, like Afghanistan, is one that holds a medieval view of women's rights. Women are at risk of sexual assault and rape from these men. Hundreds of young men who arrive in this country, housed in our communities, who undoubtedly become sexually frustrated, have a warped view of their right to sexually assault women. Of the 1,453 sexual assault convictions in 2024, 25% were committed by foreign nationals. Afghan men are 3 times more likely to be convicted of a sexual offence than someone born in the United Kingdom. We hear shocking and disturbing stories of young girls, very young girls, who have been raped by these men. A 12-year-old in Nuneaton, an 8-year-old in Lambeth, raped. The first priority of any government is to protect its citizens. And yet this government is in denial that this is even happening. It's overseeing an establishment that is gaslighting us by hiding the facts. The truth is, we have no idea who we're letting in, no idea how many of them have criminal records or who might be a red flag to our security services? How many are drug dealers, murderers, rapists, spies for hostile regimes, terrorists? What we do know is that this government is being forced, kicking and screaming, to accept that foreign nationals are 4 times more likely to commit rape or sexual assault than British men. The inconvenient truth for the left is that the
A Chinese Navy vessel collided with a smaller Chinese Coast Guard ship while pursuing a Philippine patrol boat in the South China Sea. The Philippine crew recorded the moment the 2 Chinese ships crashed head-on at the disputed Scarborough Shoal, a prime fishing area controlled by China since 2012. The Philippine Coast Guard said the Chinese boat vessel chased their BRP Suluhan at high speed and performed a risky maneuver, causing a collision. The Coast Guard boat suffered substantial damage and was declared unseaworthy. This incident adds on ongoing tensions in the South China Sea, a vital global trade route with overlapping territorial claims. China maintains its claim despite a 2016 UN tribunal ruling against it. A Chinese Coast Guard spokesperson confirmed the confrontation but did not acknowledge the collision, stating their vessel had intercepted the Philippine ships after ignoring warnings. At least 15 Palestinians, including mostly children, were killed in 2 separate Israeli strikes overnight in Gaza City. A hospital in the area confirmed the casualties. The attacks have intensified concerns over civilian safety amid ongoing conflict. Humanitarian groups have condemned the strikes, calling for an immediate ceasefire. The situation remains tense as the violence continues to escalate. Families and communities mourn the loss of their loved ones. International calls for peace and protection of civilians grow louder. The strikes add to the growing toll of the Gaza conflict.
هاي مش يكفي هاي بده يكفي الأخير هذا هاي بخلص دقيقة بعينكم الله يا جماعة عشان حماس طين الصيد عشان حماس طين الأطفال انزلوا الأطفال
A small plane crashed into parked aircraft while landing at Montana Airport, sparking a large fire. Authorities reported that despite the blaze, no serious injuries occurred. Emergency teams responded quickly to control the fire and secure the area. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Airport operations were temporarily disrupted. Officials praised the swift response that prevented casualties. Passengers and crew are safe following the incident. The crash raises concerns about airport safety protocols. Further details are awaited as investigations continue.
Like bounced back, it hit the ground and bounced up.
Should we call somebody? Calling somebody?
Yeah, I would call 911.
There they go. Yeah. Did you see it actually hit Cam?
Yes, I saw it bounce off the ground, go up, tilt over, and just land.
Remember that. You might be able to tell somebody that. How many people would have had eyes on it right then, you know?
Like bounced back, it hit the ground and bounced up.
Should we call somebody? Calling somebody?
Yeah, I would call 911.
There they go. Yeah. Did you see it actually hit Cam?
Yes, I saw it bounce off the ground, go up, tilt over, and just land.
Remember that. You might be able to tell somebody that. How many people would have had eyes on it right then, you know?
Like bounced back, it hit the ground and bounced up.
Should we call somebody? Calling somebody?
Yeah, I would call 911.
There they go. Yeah. Did you see it actually hit Cam?
Yes.
DC Mayor Muriel Bowser described President Trump's announcement to take over the city's policing force as unsettling. However, she noted that such federal interventions are not without precedent. Bowser expressed concerns over the implications for the local governance and community trust. The move comes amid rising crime and tensions in the capital. City officials are assessing the impact on policing and public safety. Bowser called for dialogue to ensure cooperation between the federal and the local authorities. Residents await clarity on how this will affect day-to-day law enforcement. The deployment adds to ongoing debates over the crime control strategies in Washington, D.C.
A district overload. Though we pay taxes, in fact, we pay more than most states per capita. We're not a state. We don't control the DC National Guard. We don't have senators or full autonomy. Limited home rule gives the federal government the ability to intrude on our autonomy in many ways. My message to residents is this. We know that access to our democracy is tenuous. That is why you have heard me and many Washingtonians before me advocate for full statehood for the District of Columbia. We are American citizens. Our families go to war. We pay taxes and we uphold the responsibilities of citizenship. And while this action today is unsettling and unprecedented, I can't say that given some of the rhetoric of the past, that we're totally surprised. I did not know that the request of MPD would be made. I believed that they would announce that they were going to call up the National Guard. I had one brief phone call related to the National Guard issue over the weekend. So we're going to work every day to get this emergency put to an end. I'll call it the so-called emergency district overload. Though we pay taxes, in fact, we pay more than most states per capita. We're not a state. We don't control the DC National Guard. We don't have senators or full autonomy. Limited home rule gives the federal government the
Colombian conservative senator and presidential hopeful Miguel Uribe Turbay passed away. He had been critically injured more than 2 months earlier after being shot during a campaign rally in western Bogota. Uribe Turbay's death marked a tragic end to the promising political career. His family supporters mourn the loss of the outspoken leader. The incident has raised concerns about the violence targeting the political figures in Colombia. Authorities continue to investigate the attack. The nation reflects on the challenges facing its democracy amid ongoing unrest. Uribe Turbay's legacy remains influential in Colombian politics.
La Fundación Santa Fe de Bogotá lamenta informar que el senador Miguel Uribe Turbay ha fallecido a la 1:56 de la madrugada de hoy. A pesar de todos los esfuerzos, es un triste desenlace, por lo cual nos solidarizamos con toda la familia Uribe Turbay en estos momentos de profundo dolor.
¿De quién es?
La Fundación Santa Fe de Bogotá lamenta informar que el senador Miguel Uribe Turbay ha fallecido a la 1:56 de la madrugada de hoy. A pesar de todos los esfuerzos, es un triste desenlace, por lo cual nos solidarizamos con toda la familia Uribe Turbay en estos momentos de profundo dolor.
¿De quién es?
And that's the end of the World 360. Stay tuned to CVR News English.